Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the second of today's two sessions on questions and answers. I'm Amjad Muhammad, and I'll be with you for another 20 minutes or so dealing with your questions and your queries. We had, prior to the break, gone through a number of questions which have come through on our Gents forum, Dar al-Iftar forum, and we spent time going through them, dealing with those particular topics. I did say that the lines are open, 01274 214299. That's 01274 214299. Please do give them a call, and you will come straight through into the studio, and we'll be able to deal with your queries as they come in. Otherwise, you can email on amjad.muhammad, amjad.mohadmed @alkhair.org, and I will receive the emails directly on my phone, and then I will be able to answer those questions. I'm just going to check the email right now just to see what we have, and we do have a few emails, but they're none from onto the Al Khair email address. So let's have a quick look. No, not there. So what we'll do is we'll continue to wait for any to come in, or we will wait for the phone to ring. If that does not happen, which isn't the case, then what we'll do is we'll continue to answer the questions which are on this forum. Now, I read a long question out to you before the break, and I was hoping that maybe there was enough time to answer that question, but it so happened that there wasn't. And as a result, we went across off air, and I said that rather than rush it, I will answer this question on our return. So, Assalamu alaikum. I just had a quick question, if that's okay. May Allah bless you abundantly. Regarding tasweer, what level of definition is required to make an image forbidden? For example, is a full body silhouette considered a forbidden image? Would an animal-shaped cookie, where it is understood that the particular cookie is an animal and may have a slight definition, like a dot for an eye or a line for a mouth, constitute a forbidden image? What about a cartoonish image in which there exists no such creature but is understood to be living, like a cartoon dinosaur playing basketball? Note that I'm referring to full body images, and I know that partial images, body images like just a hand or a head that could not live on their own, do not constitute an images of a living thing. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ameen. May Allah thank you and bless you for your kind du'as. And it doesn't really matter, my dear brother, if it's a quick question. And I don't think your question is very quick. You probably spent quite a long time typing that up. It depends more on how long the answer is or how long it takes to answer it. So quick questions don't mean anything. But I think I know what it is you're saying. So it says here about tasveer. Okay, so tasveer, in short, tasveer should be avoided, generally speaking. Somebody could be quite good an artist, and even by drawing something, it can give the image of a living creature, and some of us aren't very good. The main is the niyyah that you're doing, that you are trying to draw or create something, a living creature. And that's what is the issue. It is not the result at the end of it, but rather what it is you're doing. So if you just forget about the end result but look at the process more, then that will make it a little bit easier. So the process is that you're trying to make something which is a living creature, but obviously you're not, some of us aren't very good artists, some aren't very good, people who use clay. Some of us aren't very good at making things. So therefore, even though we may attempt to make something, it looks pretty poor, looks pretty bad. Whereas some of us are quite artistic and they can look quite good. So it's not necessarily, yet the effort that's going into it is the same. The niyyah that's going into is the same. So rather it should be the process. So any process which involves trying to make, whether that making is a picture on a piece of paper, whether that is on a computer screen, whether that is with clay, it is the process of creation which is the issue. So I hope that makes sense. So we have a caller who's called on 01274 214299. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
Please. One is, sometimes we buy some like bakery or something, like cheese from the supermarket. It is vegetarian, but it has a like splash of white wine or something, like cheese, some cheese are like, you need to bake at home for 20 minutes, then you need to eat. The question is, with the baking, does the white wine, splash of white wine, we can eat or not?
Okay.
One thing. And the other thing, my daughter, she is in last year of the school, like GCSE, and because of some lessons or, with the classes, she missed Zohar and Asr Salah. So how can she make them up, like Qada Salah, or how she need to manage these two Salahs? And even the Maghrib, by the time she reach home, the Adhan is finished. It's like 4:35, 40, she reach home. So what she need to do about Zohar and Asr Salam?
Okay.
These two questions, please. With if some vegetarian thing, but like even sometimes, you buy some olives, it has a white, wine, soak in wine, sometime. Even we try to in brine or wine, sometime. So what we need to do, especially if we cook some food, if wine is there, but we cook at home, does it dissolve or not?
Okay.
Please.
No problem.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair, sister, for the question. Our first of 2023, mashallah. So she gets the award, which is not a real award. It's just words. We're not going to send anything to her. But she gets the award for the first and second question of 2023. So congratulations, my dear sister. So the first question she asked was, you may have missed the beginning because it didn't come on air straight away, but what she was saying the first time round was that she purchased it, in this case, say cheese, and in the cheese is white wine. And she can, it doesn't have to be limited to cheese. It could be like olives or anything else for that matter, which has white wine in it. Now, we've already discussed about white wine vinegar. Okay, we're not talking about white wine vinegar, because white wine vinegar, and I have to say that very carefully because it's easy to swap the W for the V, is vinegar that was originally white wine and it has been converted into vinegar. So that's something separate. What we're talking about here is a halal substance, a vegetable or substance which is suitable for vegetarians, like cheese, like olives, which has got wine in it. So the question the sister's asking, that if we cook this either by baking or by cooking on the pot on a stove, is that sufficient for the alcohol to evaporate, the wine to evaporate and leave it? The answer really is that anything which contains white wine or any type of wine should be avoided. We should not purchase it, okay? Because it cannot be proven that the wine has left. We do not know, how much, because no matter what temperature we do it at, there is always the possibility that some of the wine will be retained by the product, even though alcohols boil at or evaporate at lower temperatures. However, with the addition of whatever goes in wine, that temperature will increase, and so therefore what we need to do is avoid the purchase in the first place. So we should not buy anything which is either soaking in wine or being held in wine, or wine is added as a flavor, and wine is added to give the cheese a kind of flavoring. So that should be avoided altogether. Okay, I hope that makes sense. There are numerous cheeses available that do not contain wine. There are numerous olives or anything else for that matter that's available that does not have wine. Again, let me repeat, I'm not talking about white wine vinegar. White wine or red wine vinegar is talking about the source of the vinegar. that this vinegar started as a wine and then it was converted into vinegar. And I've explained the process, the oxidation process that takes place to convert an alcohol into a carboxylic acid. As for question 2, now when a person becomes baligh or baligha, whether they be male or female, baligh for male, baligha for female, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a hukum upon them and He tells them, and it's our job to inform our children that certain things become compulsory upon that person because they're now adults. Even though the state might say that you have to be 18 years old to be an adult, or 21 years old to be able to do certain things, according to the Sharia, that when you become baligh or baligha, you are an adult as considered by the Sharia. Meaning you are responsible now for your actions. So if you have money and it is above nisab and a year passes on it, then you have to give zakah. If you are in the month of Ramadan, then you must fast. If you have sufficient money to travel to perform Hajj, then you must go for Hajj. And if it is Salah time, then you must pray. Now, it is unfortunate that we are in a situation that we have not informed schools or we have not informed employers that we are Muslim. And that as Muslims, we are required to pray 5 times a day. Most schools will know that. Most employers know it now. We have become very famous as Muslims after 9/11 and after 7/7. Everybody knows Muslims now, We are supposedly these evil people that do evil things, so everybody knows us. So when it comes to praying 5 times a day, then we really can't make any excuses to not pray 5 times a day. Now, normally there are periods of breaks that we get in schools. So, for example, I know lunch will vary depending on which year group you're in, but we get lunch breaks, and lunch breaks are usually, say, 12 till 1, which means in winter anyway, you can pray Dhuhr, because Dhuhr start time is usually 11:50, 11:55. So we can pray Dhuhr in our lunchtime. And usually classrooms are empty at lunchtime, or if you ask the school, they will more than happily give a room for people to pray in. When it comes to Asr, then normally we do sometimes get a break. If it's going to be a long afternoon, then we normally get a break after 2 lessons. And then it's a break, and then we have the 3rd lesson, and then it's the end of the school day. If there's only 2 lessons in the afternoon, then we normally finish early, 2:30. Worst case, 3 o'clock. So we can pray Asr. So before we set off from school, we go pray Asr. Find a classroom, stay back 5-10 minutes, pray Asr. Once we prayed Asr, then we set off to go home. So by the time we get home, if we get home at 4:35, 4:40, then the Azan for Maghrib has been called at 10 past, 15 past, 20 past. And then we can pray our Maghrib. And Maghrib is done. In the summer, well, it's okay. Because in the summer, Dhuhr carries on till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So it's not a problem. So in the winter, we can do that. So we pray Dhuhr in the lunch hour. We pray Asr in the first break. And if not in the first break, then we pray at the end of school. Schools normally finish at 3 o'clock, 3:30. Still enough time for Asr. And Maghrib, we can pray when we get home. If we don't pray and we make them qaza, when we could have prayed them on time, then that is a sin. Okay, it is a sin. We cannot commit a sin when we know that this is the salah time and we are not praying, then this is sinful. Obviously, I'm not condoning that we miss lessons or whatever. I'm saying that this is done in a strategic way, utilizing breaks in order to do that. And also, and this is just to give you an example, if, say, you needed to go to the toilet when you're in school, now I know the teacher will always say to you, you should go in at break time. I know, because I used to say it. You should go at break time. That's what breaks are for. But if you're desperate and you need to go to the toilet, the teacher's not going to say, well, you're going to sit there and no, they'll say, okay, go to the toilet and come back. So they even, every teacher will allow you, even though breaks are for going to the toilet, every teacher will allow you to go to answer the call of nature. And that's a 5 minutes to get to the toilets, 5-10 minutes in the toilet, 5 minutes back. So you're going to be gone for 15-20 minutes. Now, to pray salah, it's going to take you 5 minutes just to pray the fard. The 4 rakats of dhuhr fard will take you 4-5 minutes. The 4 rakats of asr will take you 4-5 minutes. And if there is a room nearby which you can use, then that's it. So you're gone 5 minutes and you're back. And if there's anything you've missed, you can look at your classmate. And maybe again, it makes sense that don't go at the time the teacher is teaching. So when it's the teacher time, when the teacher is leading, then listen to what the teacher's got to say. When the teacher says, right, okay, everybody get on with what they're supposed to be doing, then that might be the time to just go, because you now know what it is that the teacher wants you to do. You understand it because you were in the class whilst the teacher was teaching. Now that you're on task, you can now go for 5 minutes, knowing that those 5 minutes of the work that you don't get done, you're going to do it at home. So you don't fall behind. In fact, do 5 minutes extra. So your teacher thinks, wow, look at this student. She goes out of her lesson for 5 minutes, but she does 10 minutes of work. And we know that when you are a practicing Muslimah, your behavior is better. Your characteristics are better. So that will mean the teacher is even more happier, because they like people who are well behaved. This is what we tell students, that yes, mashallah, you're praying salah, but why are you being aggressive? Why are you misbehaving? Why are you using foul language? Why aren't you following instructions? Because part of a Muslim, not only to pray 5 times a day, but also to respect authority, to behave, to do as they're told, to follow instructions, to get better, like this teacher is in this classroom to help me. That's what they're there for. So why am I being disrespectful to them? So the teacher will also see that this person who's praying is actually a better student. This person who's praying is actually a better student than the one who's not praying. So that would be the best advice that I would give. And it can be done. Remember, there's lots of holidays we get as well. It's usually Christmas holidays, New Year days, holidays. And then you will start to see that the days will get longer, and then she'll even be able to pray dhuhr or asr rather when she gets home. It will only be dhuhr she has to worry about, and she can find some time to pray dhuhr. So look for options, look for possibilities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open doors. When we close the doors ourselves, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to open the door for you. In order for the door to open, you have to knock at the door. If you go to a door that's closed and you just stand there, nobody's going to open the door to you. So what do? You knock on the door. Similarly, if you reach a situation where the door is closed and you want Allah's help, knock on the door, make some effort, and that door, inshallah ta'ala, will open. Anyway, we need to go off air. We will see you again tomorrow, inshallah, same time, same place. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.